Good morning, 1580 103.3 WPKY. It is gorgeous. Talk about starting off the week the way that you want to. 75 and sunshine on a Monday. It doesn't get any better than that.
Only if you're cooped up in a building.
Well, that's true. I will say it's kind of like the fishbowl effect. You know, you want to go fishing, but you're staring at the fishbowl.
There you go.
And I will say for my first guest on Coffee Talk, it's somebody I've known. I'm not going to say how long I've known you because I would say we rode the school bus together a very long time ago. So, Stephanie Boaz is here this morning with us on Coffee Talk. And, of course, you do Christian life coaching, correct?
That is correct. That's correct. I'm located in Fredonia at Unity Missionary Baptist Church. I'm in the mission house. I've been a Christian life coach for well over 5 years, but just this year I recently ventured out on my own.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, with the help of Unity. Yeah, it was a big leap for me. Unity backed me and has allowed me to use the mission house for my location.
That is absolutely wonderful, though, too, because sometimes when you go out on your own, that's like walking the tightrope.
It's a big
you're
tightrope.
over the bluff by yourself. Get out there, sink or swim.
Exactly.
You know.
It's a struggle because you're responsible for everything, paying the bills, making sure everything's done right, you know.
Paying the bills,
Yeah.
that right there.
Yeah.
Mama got to bring home the bacon or we're not going to eat. How
That's
about
right.
that?
That's right.
But, I mean, what type of things do you do? I mean, as far as a life coach, a lot of people have preconceived notions. They really do. And that's one of those, you see those things on TV and they make fun of them and that sort of thing. But it's a serious thing, and it can be really helpful, and it's not anything that, it's not, some people think that maybe it's a thing you do before you go to college. No. This is like an adult life coach.
That is correct.
I mean, it's something that anybody could use at any time, correct?
Yeah, and actually we do children too. I mean, younger youth adults. Every day is a life struggle for us. Times have changed.
Let's just put that on a liner and replay it.
Yes,
12 days.
yes.
What'd you say?
Life is
day.
hard. But what I do classes with anger management and domestic violence, which coincides with court-mandated classes.
Right.
So I work with the courts. But I also do youth, family, marriage counseling. I do grief, parenting. So like when a child has been removed from a home and the courts have ordered the parents' parenting classes, I assist with those. And then I also do addiction and recovery. With addiction and recovery, that's huge. There's a lot of different addictions that are out there.
And just about anybody. I mean, I don't know of very many people at all, if any, that their lives are not touched by addiction in one way or another.
One way or another.
Whether it's a family member, whether it's themselves, whether it's a spouse or a child or a friend, in some way. These days, I mean, most people have been touched by that in one way or another.
Absolutely. And, the addiction and recovery classes that I offer are not for just the addicts. It's for their partners, their families, their children, because those are the ones that suffer as well, because they are watching their loved one or their friend or companion or whatever go through this, and that affects their lives as well.
Well, and I'll tell you, I mean, I know a lot of people think, well, I don't want to whine because I'm taking care of someone else. They're the one that's struggling, and I don't want to whine because I'm perfectly healthy. I want to tell you, and I'll be honest about it, I have a special needs son.
Right.
And he is, God bless him, the most, he will make you laugh and smile, and he will light up a room just by walking in it. But you know what? At 3 o'clock in the morning, when he wants to play slumber party, it's
Right.
not a lot of fun.
Right.
So, I mean, there's also that side of it, too.
Right.
And the mamas and the daddies and the caregivers, maybe you're a daughter or a son and you're taking care of your parents that are elderly. I mean, there's a lot of, there's a lot of people that could use a little extra support.
Exactly. And a lot of people look at the Christian counseling or coaching as a bad thing. Like they're saying, I have to get this. I need to get this. It's not a bad thing. You're bettering yourself by stepping up and saying, I need help. I need guidance. I need structure. And what I personally do is I'm not there to tell them what they're doing wrong. I'm there to help them find the right direction and take that step and that leap of faith on that next road that they need to travel.
Well, most people don't have any problem telling me what I'm doing wrong.
Well, that's yeah.
You might be the first one in a couple of weeks that didn't want to do that.
And with all of these types of different things that I offer, one thing that people don't realize is that depression is huge.
Yeah.
There is a lot of people in our community that are depressed. They don't know which direction to go. They don't know who to talk to, how to talk, because they may not even realize that they have depression problems.
Well, there's been so many things in the news. There's been suicide and school shootings, the terrorist threatening and the bombing and that sort of thing. I mean, every time you turn on the television, every time you listen to the news, it seems like there's something all the time.
Bringing you down, always something negative, and what we need to get out into the public is the positive things. We need to focus on the good things in life and not dwell on the bad things.
Well, my dad even says like during the winter, because it's so cold and he can't get out and he can't get out in the garden and get out in the yard and enjoy the sunshine. You're cooped up indoors. It's
Absolutely.
depressing.
It is. It's very depressing. And, we require vitamin D. I mean, it's very important to our personal life, our attitudes, our outlook, and without it, we suffer. And a lot of people don't want to reach out because they feel like they're going to be labeled as, broken or something's wrong with me, that I have to go and see these people, and that's not the case. Oftentimes in a marriage, people need that extra support, especially when you've been married for 40 years. That's a long time.
I'm thinking, I just heard there's a prescription for vitamin D and that sunshine is a necessity.
Absolutely.
So when I'm caught fishing later.
Yep. You're just getting some therapy.
Stephanie said we had to, and it was a necessity.
It's a therapy. If you can be outside in the sunshine, definitely. I mean, that's a good thing to have. But back to the stigma of what I do. I have a couple clients right now that are court mandated. But what's very touching to me is the other majority of my clients that I have come on their own.
Right.
That's huge. If you're opening a business or whatever.
It takes some guts.
Yes, it takes a lot of guts, and those people that say, hey, I need you, I need help, that means a lot. And knowing that I'm there when they need me, that helps them as well. I'm on call 24/7 with my clients, and they know that. And that's what builds that relationship.
Oh, we were talking about that yesterday when we were, or maybe Saturday. I don't know. It was over the weekend we were talking. And I said, that's the thing with, life coaching. Life doesn't just happen between 9 and 5.
Exactly.
Life is what happens at the 3 a.m., or 7 p.m., and that's when we need Stephanie.
Exactly. And I remember I had a client call me one Sunday evening, and she wasn't scheduled till the following week. And she called me on Sunday evening. We talked for about an hour. And she's like, I need to talk to you, So we rescheduled an appointment, That's what it's about. If you're having a moment or a stressful situation that's just popped up, you need that extra outlet to go to. And something that I've always said, too, is coaches need coaches as well. I'm just like the next one. I have the person to go to when I need to de-stress, but we all need that outlet in our life, someone that we can talk to that can lead us and guide us and help us through the path that we're trying to take.
Well, I'll tell you, this week, the one thing that really comes to mind, and I have already boo-hooed enough tissues to fill a trash can, but graduation.
Yes.
And there's going to be a lot of letting go this week.
Absolutely.
And a lot of kids over the next month or so heading off to college and moving out of the house and going to the dorms. I mean, there's going to be some broken-hearted mamas and daddies and grandparents.
Absolutely. And I've been there. I've already had one graduate. I've had one go to boot camp. I've had one retire from the military. So I'm not telling you how old I am.
Well, I can't pick on you, but I will charge. So you go right ahead.
So I know what they're going through, and it is a hard struggle when you have to sever that tie with your child because they're stepping out into that adult world. But just know that you can still reach out to your child, and your child can always reach out to you no matter where they are. That was something that we sang in church for Mother's Day, is a song similar to to that, saying that, no matter where we are, our children can always be with us.
My kids will tell you I'm a helicopter mom. That's what I won't leave them alone. I am nipping on your heels. I'm come and give me a hug. I'm in your face. I mean, that's me. I'm not going to leave you alone. So when they leave the house, woo, girl,
it's hard. It's
guess
hard.
who's going to call you?
Yeah. And see, that's when that depression might kick in as well, because that empty nest syndrome. Parents have raised their child from birth, and now they're leaving. And if they have only one child, it's very traumatic, because that's something that's been there, and you just don't want to let go.
I'll tell you, there's some kids that we're very close to that are good friends of ours. They're basically I call them my kids. There's one that I call my Peanut, and God bless her. And there's, kids from church and that sort of thing that you get really attached to. They may not be your children.
Yeah.
And that's almost worse sometimes, because, well, I guess it's not worse, but it is bad because they don't have to call you anymore.
Right.
You know, I mean, they're going to call their parents, but they're not going to call you necessarily. When's the next time you're ever going to see them?
Right.
And I told some of them at church on Sunday when I saw them, I was like, okay, you don't get to go anywhere and not return. Do you understand that? It's like we're attached to you, whether you like it or not.
Exactly. And, parents that have to deal with this, they hide their emotions, and it's a struggle, and that can lead to other issues if they keep it vented into their hearts. If you don't let loose of that, it works on you, and, people with depression or people that are dealing with other issues, they hide all that really well. They'll smile, they'll act like nothing's wrong when they're out with you in the public eye, but when they go home, it's a totally different scenario. They sink back into that sadness, and we have to be positive for those people. They don't want to really just step out and say, I'm depressed, because they don't want to be labeled.
There used to be commercials on TV, and I forget what the commercial was actually for, but they would walk around with signs around their neck. And I believe it was
I've seen that.
A depression
It's a
one,
depression pill.
where it's like, nobody walks around with a sign saying, I'm depressed.
Yeah,
all day
they have
long,
that
and
happy face on all the time.
Right. And that was, to me, that was a commercial that really kind of stood out to me, because it's like, you tell people what you want them to know, and you let them see the face that you want them to see, and oftentimes that's not necessarily what's going on.
That's right. A lot of us, and there's a lot of us that sit back and we will put that smile on for everyone, but inside, the heart's breaking. We're struggling with everyday life struggles. We've got to pay bills. We've got to wonder what our children are doing. How are we going to put food on the table? Where's our next outing going to be, and it's a lot.
Well, tell them how to get a hold of you.
Absolutely. I can be reached at 270-625-8211. I'm located in Fredonia at Unity Missionary Baptist Church, and my address there is 20613 Marion Road. We do have some signs outside the church that shows where we're located. But if you need anything, just don't hesitate to give me a call.
Well, thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much.
I've enjoyed seeing you. I haven't seen you for a lot of minutes. I'll
several minutes.
Hang on. We've got more coffee talk coming. And let's see, I've got Joe Duncan, and he's got some guest from the farmers market out there with him as well, and we're expecting Richie McKinney. So Coffee Talk will be back in just a second. 1580 103.3 WPKY.